This video was generated by AI, not by OpenAI, not by Google, not by any company you've heard of, by MiniMax, a 385-person startup from Shanghai. This morning, they went public. The stock surged 80% in hours. Retail investors oversubscribed by 1837 times, meaning for every share available, nearly 2,000 people wanted to buy it. The company is now worth over $11 billion. But here's the part that doesn't add up. OpenAI spends $12 billion per quarter. That's $50 billion a year just to keep the lights on. MiniMax, they spend $500 million total to build everything you just saw. That's 1% of OpenAI's budget. So either this company figure out something Silicon Valley hasn't, or this whole thing is about to collapse. Let's find out which one. Before we get into how they did it, let me tell you what the $500 million actually bought. Their video model, Hailuo 02, is ranked number 2 in the world on independent benchmarks. Only Google's Veo beats it. They've generated 5.9 billion videos, and unlike Sora, which OpenAI kept locked away for a year, MiniMax shipped this to users months ago. Their app, Talkie, was the 4th most downloaded AI app in America last year, beating Google-backed Character.ai. 27 million monthly users, 1.7 million paying subscribers. Their speech model is ranked number 1 globally. They have generated 2.2 billion hours of AI voice. Here's something Western media completely missed. MiniMax is likely the voice behind most Chinese audiobooks and podcasts. Their biggest B2B customer is almost certainly China Literature, the Netflix of Chinese web novels. Consumer apps bring in 70% of revenue, but their B2B voice business runs at 69% gross margin. They're building a consumer brand and an infrastructure monopoly at the same time. Okay, so the products are real. They're competitive. In some cases, they're best in class. Which brings us back to the question, how? December 2021, Yan Junjie was 33 years old, a vice president at SenseTime, one of China's most valuable AI companies. They were about to IPO. He was about to get very, very rich. He quit right before the payout. Why? In interviews, he said he believed you could build general-purpose AI for regular people, not just governments and enterprises, without burning through billions of dollars. Everyone thought he was wrong. The conventional wisdom was clear. AI is a money war. Whoever spends the most wins. OpenAI raised $10 billion from Microsoft. Then another $6.6 billion. Anthropic raised $8 billion. xAI just raised $20 billion in a single round. MiniMax raised $850 million total before this IPO. That's less than what OpenAI burns in a single month. Here's what Yan said recently. The best American companies may be valued 100 times more, earn 100 times as much revenue, spend dozens of times more money, yet their technology might only be about 5% ahead, and that gap is narrowing. Bold claim. Let's see if the math actually works. 3 things made MiniMax different. Number 1, they bet on multimodal before everyone else. In 2022, the entire AI industry was obsessed with text, ChatGPT, large language models, words. MiniMax made a different bet. They built one unified system that handles text, images, voice, video, and music together. Why does this matter? Because when everything shares the same foundation, you can reuse 80% of your work across different products. Train your video model, and your text model gets better too. Train your voice model, and your video model improves. It compounds. Instead of building 5 separate things, you're building one thing that does 5 things. Number 2, they were early to mixture of experts. Here's a concept that changed AI. Mixture of experts. Instead of using all 230 billion parameters for every single task, MiniMax's models only activate about 10 billion at a time, whichever experts are most relevant. It's like having a giant brain, but only using the parts you need. Same capability, fraction of the cost. This is the same trick that made DeepSeek famous. MiniMax was doing it earlier. Number 3, they built an AI native organization. Here's where it gets wild. Google has 180,000 employees. Their CEO, Sundar Pichai, recently said that 25 to 30% of Google's new code is now written by AI. MiniMax has 385 employees. According to Chinese tech media citing internal sources, 80% of their code is written by AI. Their engineers don't write code. They design systems and train AI to write code for them. The average employee age? 29. Number of management layers between an engineer and the CEO? 3. One report described their process. A new grad can pitch an idea, reach the CEO within 2 days, and see it deployed as a live model update within 3. This isn't a software company. This is what happens when you actually use AI to build AI. And that's why they can do what they do at 1% of the cost. So let's talk about what happened this morning. MiniMax priced at 165 Hong Kong dollars per share, the top of their range. They raised $710 million after upsizing the deal due to demand. Retail oversubscription 1837 times. Institutional oversubscription 37 times. First day pop 80%. Market cap $11.5 billion. The cornerstone investors include Abu Dhabi Sovereign Wealth Fund, Alibaba, Tencent, and interestingly MiHoYo, the gaming company behind Genshin Impact. And NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang has publicly called MiniMax world-class. He met with MiniMax founder in Beijing for 2 hours, so the market believes, the tech giants believe. Even NVIDIA believes, but there are real reasons this could all fall apart. Let's be real about the problems. Number 1, they're bleeding money. MiniMax lost $512 million. In the first 9 months of 25, revenue was just $53 million. That's a brutal ratio. They're not profitable. They might not be for years. Number 2, they're being sued by Disney and Warner. Hailuo AI allegedly generated copyrighted content, Mickey Mouse, Batman, Joker. Disney and Warner Bros. Filed suit. If they lose, it could cripple the entire AI video industry, not just MiniMax. Number 3, geopolitical risk. MiniMax's founder came from SenseTime, a company now on the US sanctions list. 70% of MiniMax's revenue comes from outside China. If US-China relations get worse, that revenue could vanish. These aren't small risks. Any one of them could sink the company. But here's what I keep coming back to. Forget MiniMax for a second. Here's the bigger question. What if the story Silicon Valley has been telling, that you need infinite capital to compete in AI, was never fully true? OpenAI has raised over $20 billion. Anthropic, $8 billion. XAI, $12 billion. They're spending money faster than any companies in history. And then DeepSeek shows up with a model trained for $5 million that matches GPT-4. MiniMax shows up with products built for 1% of the cost. Here's my take. And I know some people will disagree with this. The infinite capital narrative was partially true for a specific moment, when scaling was the only game in town. Bigger models, more data, more compute. But we're past that moment now. Architecture matters. Organization matters. Efficiency matters. MiniMax didn't outspend OpenAI. They out-organized them. They built a company where AI isn't just a product, it's the operating system. Where 385 people do what takes thousands elsewhere. Yan Junjie has said he believes only 5 AI companies will survive globally in the long run. I don't know if MiniMax will be one of them. Nobody does. But I do know this. If they succeed, it won't just be a win for one Chinese startup. It'll be proof that the future of AI doesn't belong to whoever writes the biggest check. It belongs to whoever figures out how to actually use AI to build AI. And as of today, MiniMax is the first company to take that thesis public. That's the story. One question for you. Do you think $500 million is enough to compete with $50 billion? Or is this all going to collapse? If you want more analysis like this, especially the stuff that only shows up in Chinese sources that English media misses, follow Fortune AI wherever you listen. I'll see you in the next one.